Hello friends, I welcome you once again to the AFOSOP video tutorial series, a presentation by the Academy for Life Skills Development. Last time we had seen personality development part 1, where we had tried to understand what is personality and how is SSB a personality based selection, and what is the damage that coaching does if it is not on the right lines and if it is based on rote memory. Today in the part 2, we will try and understand the entire concept of personality a little more deeper, and the topic for today is personality formation over years, that is from birth in the process of a journey of life. How do you grow and how does your personality take shape? Incidentally, there was a comment from Rahul TP in the last series of personality development part 1, where he had made a request. Sir, I'm requesting you to make a video to address our Q4. If you remember Q4 in the Zohari window video, that was in assisted introspection part 2, I had given this concept of Johari window, Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. So Q1 is the open area, Q2 is the blind area, that is unknown to yourself, Q3 is the hidden area, that is these contents are known to you but hidden by others, and Q4 is the 90% of your personality which is unknown to neither to you or not to the world outside. So the request by Rahul was to understand what is this Q4 and what is the content inside, how it gets filled inside and what all can. So I'll make a video on that, and subsequently we'll make how to reduce the Q2, that is the blind area in you, and also how to clean this Q3, which is the hidden area. So I'll take on as and when the video is progressive and based on your feedback and the utility of these videos for you. Just to get a recap of what we did in the part 1 of this series, we had seen the social field theory, where we are part of a social environment, and that puts a structure on us. So you are the person, you interact with social situations, and a behavior is given out. On this, there's a separate video on the social field theory. I hope you have seen that. And we also know that behavior is a function of your personality interacting with a given environment. And for the ease of understanding, personality is your behavior, attitude, your belief systems, your value system that are very characteristic to each of us. That is, individually, they are all different. We have made a separate video on the values for leadership excellence. I'm sure you would have watched that. If not, kindly watch it. And now we understand that different people behave differently when subjected to the same situation, because the personality parameters are different for each one of them. So we are aware of that. Now, we also saw that we can improve the quality of our life and quality of our decision and also our performance in the SSB if we can alter our attitude, our belief system, our value system. And that involves deeper understanding of ourselves. It is like these radio knobs. So if you change your attitude, if you change your belief system, if you change your value system, your response on the outside will change. So that is the domain of personality development, which as part of the AFOSOP Leadership and Personality Development Program, we are undertaking it. We do not employ rote memory as a learning tool. This rote memory is external manipulation, keeping these internal parameters constant. That is, without making any changes in your attitude, your belief system, and your value system, keeping them constant. We are trying to manipulate you from the outside in the conventional coaching model, whereas in the AFOSOP model, it's a process-oriented training where we, system and value system based on the way you demonstrate it, and then it's a enduring and a lasting change rather than a superficial outward change only for the purpose of cracking SSB. AFOSOP does not employ even one word of rote memory. That's a word, and that's a promise to all candidates. We will not tamper with your freedom of choice. I've already told it some time back. Now, we also seen that there was this model called proactive decision making model, which was as part of the developing problem solving skills, that video. And we saw between the stimulus and the response, we have the freedom of choice. The kind of choices that we make, that determines our quality of life and the quality of our decisions, and also your performance in the SSB. And in order to take effective decision making, we need to have certain factors that are active in us, and one is a high degree of self-awareness. So I'll be making a series on this soon. And next is an ability to learn from past experiences, of our own experiences and also from the experiences of others. A high degree of imagination, that is looking into the future and then making a SWOT analysis of yourself and of the situation or the organization or whatever. Ability to look into the future, abstract. Next, to listen to your inner voice, that is your conscience, the divinity in you. And the last is an independent Ichha Shakti, that is willpower, such a strong willpower that nothing can actually affect you, right? Now, this was, we had seen this famous quote: you are not a product of your circumstances, you are a product of your choices. So if you can alter your choices, you can alter your destiny. So that's the theme on which the entire training is built. So today, you can see this 90% thing rotating in the subconscious thing. You can see in this proactive model. So today, this 90% will try and explore, what is this 90% that is there? And there are those books, Power of the Subconscious, and so many things spoken about the subconscious thing. Let us try and understand, what is this? So, this is the Q4 that person in the video was speaking, Q4. So let us try and explore, what is this Q4? And sometimes we call it as the engine behind our entire action. So if this is so powerful, I think we need to understand, how does it get formed from the birth and in the process of the journey ahead. And there's a famous quote from Joseph Murphy, is the author of the book The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Now, as you sow in your subconscious mind, so shall you reap in your body and environment. So if it is so true, it is also applicable to SSB. So your subconscious has to show what you demonstrate in the SSB. And I told you SSB is a subset of life. So this subconscious is both active in life, and so it is active in SSB. So you cannot modify it from an outward, TAT, WAT kind of an approach and then think that it will give you the result. It will not. So there is a requirement that we understand our own self. And this 90% of our personality is unknown. So there is a need that we must explore it and understand कि इसके अंदर क्या पड़ा हुआ है. Right, now let's come back to the journey of life. I've already shown it this in the previous slide. Our life operates between two letters, B and D, that is birth and death, and that's the entire journey of life. So all of us here, they become civil services, become a doctor, you become successful, unsuccessful. The end of our journey is going to be death. That's the certainty, and that is the ultimate truth, whether you make it or not make it, or whatever you become. So everybody's journey, whether you have a nano or a Maruti or a cycle, all of us going to go there. So that's a fundamental truth. Now, as part of this journey, when we are born initially, we are born with certain qualities. They are called the innate qualities of the self. And what are these innate qualities? What are these? Power. This power is not the muscle power. It is the power to face anything. As a child, you can do that. It's truth, happiness, equilibrium, balance. So these were the qualities of all child when we were born as a little child. We were born with certain innate fundamental quality. These are also called the original qualities of soul, if you believe in spirituality. So every human being is born with these innate qualities. No Hindu, no Muslim, nobody is rich, nobody is poor. You can just be the way you are. That's why he said the child is the purest form of existence. But as this child grows through the journey, the home environment shapes him. The kind of parenting that you've been. If your father was strict, Hitler type, it would have shaped you. If he was a drunkard, it would have shaped him. If he was an IAS officer, it would have shaped him. If he was a poor farmer, it would have shaped him. So your home environment, your parenting style, your mother, father, the way you were brought up, it shapes your personality. Then the social environment, the friend circle, the kind of society that you were living. Were you living Dharavi or were you living in a very posh area? It affects you. Then your schooling affects you. Then you join some job, that affects you. Like I was in the army before taking commission, that has shaped me. If you're in a hostel, in a college, it shapes you. If you're from Sainik school, it shapes you. If you're from Doon school, it has got a different environment. So if you're from a medical profession, it shapes you. So profession shapes you. Next is you get married, your wife comes, your husband comes, that shapes you. Your priorities changes. You have a child, it shapes you. And then the old age. So it's a gradual process. It cannot be understood in a 14 days module. It's a very deep process. So everything shapes you. In fact, I will be making separate video on each of these components. Each of these, from parenting to friends to school to profession, everything I'll take it separately so that we understand the journey of life. This innate quality, they get superimposed with layers of outer personality, that is your acquired, that's called the acquired personality. It is like a white marble and in the kitchen, and when your mother is using that marble slab for kitchen work, a lot of oil, all those things falls, and it's not properly cleaned, so you get layers by layers over it, and over a period of time the original color of the marble is not seen, and there are a lot of spots and all that. So if you fundamentally understand that deep inside there is the original marble, and these are all layers, and that's the way the acquired qualities get deposited over us. So after the birth, the child goes through and what are these? They are nothing but the personality traits that are acquired. So what are these? For example, the hereditary, that is chromosomes, mother and father, genetic, we understand as part of the biology we have studied. Next is the value system that the parents give, the society gives, the belief system that the child develops. So if you're from Haryana, a different belief system. If you're from Kerala, a different belief system. If you're from US, a different belief system. Your attitudes, your habit formations, everything is gradually shaping up. Then the quality of relationship, initially the primary caretaker, that is your mother, the father, the society, the kind of security that you have developed with them, and your wife, your husband, and your bosses, and all those things. So patterns are what repetitive habits that get into its hardwired. Addictions, what are addictions? Compulsive behavior. We develop certain things. And emotional complexes, what are these things? They, life may be experience a lot of things, and then we get into some complexes. For example, low self-esteem, or maybe high self-esteem, or maybe inferiority complex, superiority complex, or a complex with some incident where you felt hurt or whatever. So we accumulate a lot of things. Next, your own self-esteem, the way you perceive yourself. Swaman, self-perception, the way you see yourself. It may be computations, ichai, needs, guilt. What do you mean by guilt? Certain decision that you regret, you feel pain. Then pains of different nature, needs, expressed oblique unexpressed needs. There are needs that I am not able to express, but they exist inside. Next is my experiences from life, good and bad. They all shape me from inside. Somebody cheated me, it shapes me. Right now, Modi had done this, 1,000 rupees and 500 ka ban, demonetization. It's an experience. Now I'll be guarded. If I'm accumulating money, I'll be now careful because of this experience. If I have been bitten by a dog once, it'll have effect in my subsequent interaction with the dogs because of the past memory. And if it is not resolved, it will interfere manifold. So we'll see that memories, some good memories, some past bad memories. Our mind has a capacity to oscillate between the past and the future, whereas it should be in the present. So if you don't handle your memories, good and bad, correctly, you will find your mind oscillating between the past and the future. Goes to the past, creates pain. Goes to the future and create anxiety. I've already showed in one of the assisted introspection part 3 video where I had done this classification of medical classification of thoughts. If you remember, I'll request you to watch it. Next is unresolved conflicts from the past. Conflict means, for example, I wanted to take humanities, but my father forced me to take science in 12th. I did not want to do engineering, but parents compelled me to do engineering. Now I'm in conflict. I'm not feeling very comfortable with the profession I'm, and I feel that it's been thrust on me. I wanted to get friendly with this girl, but she refused and she went with Suresh. Now I'm in conflict. Should I speak to her? Should not I speak to her? There's so many conflicts that are within me. So if I'm not able to handle my conflicts inside, it has impact on me. For example, if my parents have been going through a divorce process or have gone through a divorce, it builds conflicts in me. My understanding of the relationship gets twisted. If I lost my parents in the early age and I've been brought up as a single parent, or maybe the environmental framework, then my spiritual connection. Spiritual connection does not mean Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. It is my faith in the higher existence and the way I relate with myself. Is it very, rigid, or is it inflexible, or is it whatever kind of it? So spiritual connection and the creativity. That is, my creativity lies deep inside me. How creative I am in handling my issues and understanding problems and evolving my out-of-the-box solution. That my creative dimension is also inside there. Now all these things form the part of the layers or the acquired personality, which gives me my external identity. So people all of you see my external identity. I'm a colonel sahab. That's my acquisition. I have a car, big. I got a Mercedes, meri auqaat change. So externally, people are evaluating me. The ego, the roles that I play. I was a colonel in the army. I was a so-and-so in the army. I'm an IS officer. I'm a doctor. I'm a neta. This is my role. Possession, physical, material possession. The skills that I've acquired. I can play good guitar. I can sing very well. These are skills. They're not my qualities. Body. I'm physically. I'm tall, handsome, smart, dark, fat. Jo bhi hai. So that's my external identity. My relationship. I have a healthy relationship with my wife. So I'm happy, contented. I have a strained relationship with my wife, or maybe other relationships. So these are my external parameters on which people see me, or I show influence of those associated memories. And then experiences of life, good and bad. My habits are repetitive patterns, and then learning. So I have something fundamentally deep inside, that the core value system, that is the innate qualities, and on top of these layers that I've acquired over the period of my journey, through my life experience, good and bad. So they're clear cut. One is the visible behavior, and the other is the invisible personality of mind. So this is the inner dimension of me, and continuously these things that are inside, deep inside me, they influence my 10% conscious brain. So this top 10% is called the conscious mind, and I'm sure all of you would have seen this model in a different format. And so I have got two faces, one that I want to show, and second that I do not show, or maybe sometimes I am myself not aware. So if you have understood the Zohari window, this 10% consists of Q1, Q2 and Q3. That is Q1, what I want to show, Q2, what I'm not aware or blind area, and Q3, that I know but I don't want to disclose. So it's a complex thing. And the 90%, that is a Q4, is the one which is in the subconscious mind, which is storehouse of my entire experience, both through my sense perception and through my emotions. That are black box of my life. Black box, flight data recorder. Similarly, I also have a black box. Only thing, I've never accessed it, or maybe I don't know what is stored there. But I think there is a methodology, and there's a requirement that if you're going for a personality-based selection, or maybe if you want to grow as a person, you must know what is inside you. Now, I'm sure all of you would have seen this iceberg theory of personality, or this model, at least some part of your life, on educational life, on the professional life. So all that I've tried to show you is that everybody says that 10% is the conscious and 90% is the subconscious mind. I just wanted to show you what lies inside this 90%. So this, what is rotating the surface, that are completely different from one another. Even though you may be born out of the same mother, twins, but then your personality parameters are completely different because of life experiences, your hereditary genetics and your habits, everything is different. So when you're going for the SSB interview, this 90% traits that are there, for all of you, it is different. So when you come to me for training, or to anybody else, you cannot be trained on a bhed chal, where everybody is made to conduct in a particular manner which becomes identical. Photostat bana dete. No, that is not the way. You're killing your individuality for doing that. Please don't do that. If you understood this model, iceberg theory of personality, I just want to give you a glimpse of what all exists in the inside. There's much more to it, but I'll gradually touch all of them. This just to give an overview. Now, let us understand, in this 10% that is visible on the outside, what are the parts of it, and how do we operate with this entire psychological structure which lies inside, deep inside us. Now, before you understand that, I want to give you a metaphor so that you understand it clearly. Suppose you drive a car. Now, the car has got two components. One is the engine, and second is the steering wheel, or the control system. The power lies in the engine. The power lies in the engine. In a car, the power lies in the engine, and the control lies in the steering. So you as a driver, you control the engine directly, you control the steering. So if you're a good driver, does not mean you know the engine better. It simply means that you can take better control of the engine even though you don't know anything about the engine, how it functions. But if you can know the engine, your driving and your interaction with the engine through the steering wheel and the pedal and all will improve. If you've understood this model, just imagine if you take out the steering If you take out the steering and if you accelerate, and you will meet with disaster. If you understood this, you understood that even though the power lies in the engine, you need to know how to control the steering wheel and the combination of brake, accelerator and clutch. On the same analogy, if you look at the mind, the 90% portion is the engine, and then this engine you have to control through the 10%, that is your mind, or that is the conscious mind, so that your engine operates in beta rhythm at all points of time. What is beta rhythm? I'll request you to watch the Assisted Introspection Part 3 series. And the brain has to operate under beta rhythm. And if you want to be a leader in life or in beta rhythm, if you're going into the interviewing officer's room and if your heart is beating beyond a point and you're feeling palpitation inside, it means your beta rhythm is missed and you're going in super beta rhythm. If Mukesh rapes Nirbhaya, it is not in a stable state of mind. That means the driver has lost his control, and that's why he's raping. If Shikha, having failed, locks herself into the room, it means that failure she could not handle that failure. So the steering was left and the engine started, operating independently. So please understand, your mind has to operate in beta rhythm, and to do that you must know how to use the control. And the control is divided into two parts. Look on the left side. The first part is called the mind and the second part is called the intellect. So our control system, consists of two parts, the mind and the intellect, which is part of the conscious brain, and the subconscious, which is the engine, consists of the 90% of the power. So the power lies in the engine, but the control lies between the mind and the intellect. They have to operate in a particular rhythm so that the engine produces effective output. Now, this is the way I equate. In fact, you would have seen this photograph many number of times. So this is the way I was trying to represent. So you have the mind and the intellect, which is part of the conscious brain. And then you have the 90% subconscious, where the power lies, as shown by the rotating. Engine is the 90% downwards, that is the subconscious. And the control, steering, is the mind and the intellect. And they have a function. I'll tell you what is that function. Now, let us understand the function of the mind, intellect and the subconscious mind. This has already been explained in Assisted Introspection series, part 1 actually. So I'll just do it once again, because now we're going into the deeper layers of personality. Now, MIS of self, I've written here. MIS stands for Management Information System of the Self. It's a management term, but I'm using it on the mind. So how does the mind manage information? It manages using three components: mind, intellect and the subconscious. So what is the function of the mind? The function of the mind is, it is the thinking faculty of the self. I'll request you to watch those. It gives you the thinking power, generate thoughts, emotions, feelings ko महसूस करना है. It can imagine, it can form ideas. And what's the function of the intellect? Intellect is the decision making faculty of the self. Decision making. For example, if mind is vakil, then intellect is the judge. किसकी चलनी चाहिए, वकील की या जज की? जज की चलनी चाहिए, The judge must be in control. The mind has to work as a subservient to the intellect. Let me give you another example. If mind is the kamwali of the house, bai, the maid of the house, then intellect is the boss of the house, makan malikin. So who should be working under whom? The kamwali should be subservient to the intellect. Imagine what happens opposite. If mind dominates the intellect, if vakil dominates the judge, then judge will be forced to do wrong decision, forced to give wrong decision. And then when you question, whom do you question? Do you question the vakil or do you question the judge? The judge is questioned. In the same way, when Karan Harpreet's story, TAT part 5, the mind dominated the intellect. So Karan took her to the hostel. You had physical relationship, full safety, 1 hour counseling. What was it? Was the intellect dominating or the mind dominating? I hope it's making sense. So what is the function of the intellect? It evaluates. Evaluation is the job of the intellect. It reasons, tark ki shakti. Discrimination means bearing judgment, decisions. And to do this, it uses the wisdom, experience and its willpower. Many a times, for example, your mind may say to do something, but it is the intellect which has to put the brakes. So intellect can act like a brake. Mind is like an accelerator. It tells you, ye kar lo, wo kar lo. Look at this. Mind is like a wild horse. Mind is like a wild horse, and intellect is the reins which controls the wild horse. So if the wild horse is not reined, it will run left, right. है ना. फिर then we'll say मन मर्जी करता है, मतलब he's operating out of a mind. And we say हिंदी में, why don't you सोच समझ के क्यों नहीं करता, सोचना मन का. And a horse that is tamed can produce wonders, but a wild horse, even though it is full of energy, it is misguided. That's the way. Is your mind under control of the intellect? If yes, nobody can stop you, both whether it is SSB or life. But if a mind is dominant over the intellect, you are at shambles. So what is the job of the subconscious mind? It is the experiences of the self. It is the black box. It's the flight data recorder of our life. So it consists of all records of your action, tendencies, habit, traits, value system, belief system, talents, suppressed emotion, needs, drive, attitudes, and memories, good and bad. I'll request you to watch that assisted introspection. Is your mind in control, and is your intellect taking charge of whatever decision that you take inside? Even going to a coaching center and उनकी बात को unquestioned सुनना without using an intellect, without discriminating, indicates that your mind is dominant over the intellect. The mind is a very good servant, but it is a very, very bad master. And I find many of the coaching centers are feeding the mind, है ना, इसको रट लो, पास हो जाओगे. The intellect is suppressed. Question नहीं पूछना, क्वेश्चन पूछना इंटेलेक्ट का काम है, उसको ही बंद कर दिया. मतलब जज को बंद. इफ नोबडी आंसर्स आई विल आंसर. यू हैव टू एम्पावर योर इंटेलेक्ट. इस इंटेलेक्ट रूपी चाकू की धार को तेज करो, इसको ब्लंट मत करो. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, when you go to a coaching center, the job is not to close your intellect, but to sharpen your intellect. That is what is going to differentiate you from other people and other candidates and from all others in terms of taking effective decisions. Decisions are to be taken by your intellect, not by your mind. I'll explain it sometime later in detail. So, there is this little quote from Carl Jung. See it on the right hand side down. Unless you make the unconscious the power of this 90% subconscious mind. That's why the book, power of the subconscious mind, all those things. And now if you understand this decision making model, which I've explained in the problem solving and the SRT series, so whether in life or in SSB, whenever a situation comes, your mind understands the reasoning karta hai, ye karta hai, wo options generate karta hai, gives it to the intellect, and the mind creates that option based on the values that are stored in your subconscious mind, and then these options are evaluated by the intellect. So your intellect function has to be activated, and then you select the best option. That's your decision, and then that decision you implement it by using appropriate resources. Whether it is TAT, they have to change. These videos will compel them to change. आप लोग जाना, अभी देखना कोचिंग सेंटर में हरकतें तो शुरू हो गया. And I want all of you to, generate a discussion with them कि ये क्या बोल रहे हैं ये coaching वाले sir Ganesh Babu. If I'm not making sense, question me. I'll explain what I'm saying. And now I can understand, we all can understand why different people behave differently when encountering similar situation because of our personality parameters. So these are the parameters that you have to change. So when you come here, what I have to understand is interact with you, take a feedback from your lifeline analysis, make an interpretation, and then find out what are the behavioral problem, what are the attitude problem, what are the belief system problem. इसको घोट लो, 6,000 ऑफिसर बन गए, तुम भी बन जाओगे. No, that's not the way. That is cheating. That is cracking the system. What you must do is improve your personality. Now you can understand, if Mukesh had raped Nirbhaya, you can understand why he is raped, because of his attitude, his belief system, the value system. And if Vishnu Shrestha had saved the girl by killing 3 people, now you can understand his behavior, his attitude, his belief system, and his value system. मुकेश के डायलॉग को विष्णु श्रेष्ठा के डायलॉग को मुकेश को रटवाने से Mukesh will not become Vishnu Shrestha. And now it's your turn. How do you handle life? What you have to do is you have to improve as a person. When you improve as a person, your responses will change, and your responses in the life will change, and naturally that's the way you are going to operate in the SSB, because driver wahi hai, car wahi hai. The way you are able to drive the car in life, that's the only way you can drive the car in SSB. You cannot suddenly become expert in 14 days, because आपका control तो वही है. Same engine, same control, your control, और आप जिंदगी भर you are handling those car. And how can you suddenly become expert in handling the same car in the SSB? No. Please understand the car, engine, and the steering model. ways if you don't improve your driving in life. I hope it's making sense. So please ये रट्टा मारना छोड़ दो. I don't know तुम लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा. For God's sake, don't spend your money on ratta maro. It is doing complete damage to you. Or even if you accidentally make it, trust me, you will still remain an ass. So SSB is a personality-based selection. What it means is, this is you, your mind, your intellect, and your subconscious, 90%. We already saw what is there inside. And the GTO psychological test interview, they subject this complete system through a series of tests, TAT, WAT, whatever, and then you respond. I say SSB is a subset of life. So you need to improve on your domain of personality, and this is not the way. We have seen the proactive decision-making model. What you have to do is you have to increase your self-awareness. We'll make videos on that. You have to learn from your past experience. Imagination has to be, empowered. Conscious की आवाज को सुनना and independent will इसको जगाना. That's the way. Stop doing this. ये नहीं रट लो. TAT की कहानियां रट लो. लीडर ने बना दिया ना, सरपंच के पास गया, ब्रिज बना दिया, NGO खोल दिया. तमाशा मत करो. Don't do that. Please be careful. Please be careful. So if you like this, that is the basis of my future videos. So the more you comment, the more I'll be motivated to make the future videos. I hope you will post your comment. And in case you wish to attend the AFOSOP Leadership and Personality Development Program, the next batch is started from today, that is 21st November. It is only a 1-week batch. Thereafter, from 27 to 4 December, I will not be present. I'm going to Sainik School, Satara. And from 5th December onwards, we will have 2 weeks batch that's ending on 17th of December. And from 11th December, you'll have 1 week. Again, thereafter, I'm going to Coimbatore and Palghat for conduct of classes there. And then the 1-month batches, as the routine batches will start from 2nd January, contact numbers, and Monday you can join for a free demo class. And once again, not one word of ratta, that's a promise. Finally, I hope once again that these videos are helping you. Thank you and God bless you.